Hello, Manchester City fans. The first live stream we have done on the channel for a very long time, actually, and we're here to discuss Matheus Nunes on deadline day. How are we all doing? It's a busy day, and it probably will be a busy day for everyone associated with Manchester City. But at last, they've got something done. They've got something done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. I think Matheus Nunes was the best option for Man City. They've secured the number 27, or he secured the number 27, I should say. And yeah, I did a profile video on this the other day. And if you haven't gone and seen that, everybody, please make sure you go and watch that. It's on the Manchester City, Manchester Evening News YouTube page. But I think he fits. I really, really think he fits. I think this is a player that Pep Guardiola is really going to enjoy having. I think it's a player who is going to add a lot to this Manchester City midfield. I think the Gundo attributes that City have maybe missed in terms of just that box-to-boxness, I think he's going to replace in abundance. I think he gives a real sort of energy to that midfield as well, where maybe Rodri and Kovacic are going to be able to lean on him a little bit as well. And I just want to read out a few quotes that he's been quoted as saying today. Matheus Nunes says, "I've learned so much during my season at Wolves, and I'm excited to continue improving in the Premier League, a division which continues to bring the best out of me. I'm really excited to be going and meeting the fans. I'm so happy to be joining Man City, champions of Europe, and a club I've admired for a long time. The opportunity to work under Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest ever, and alongside some of the best players in the world, I couldn't turn down." Tiki has said as well, "Everyone knows Pep improves players. We've seen it so often, and we cannot wait to see Matheus develop." And I think that's another big thing for City. It's the fact that we know how good Matheus Nunes is right now, his profile right now, how he's going to fit City right now. But the level under Pep Guardiola is... You see it all the time, and I think I've seen it with Kovacic in the first couple of games, like those long collapsing runs that he's suddenly making from midfield, where I think in the Chelsea system he's a little bit more structured, it was a little bit more rigid, but now he's making those sort of lung busting runs forward, which I think is Pep saying break the lines. You know, he's got the capabilities to bring that ball forward. Those ball carrying abilities are on show now, and I think literally in weeks you're seeing Kovacic develop under Pep Guardiola. It's something where you're maybe going to see, I think, in a Pep Guardiola system, the demand, and I think you've seen this with Jack Grealish's game a lot. You know, Grealish was the main guy, wasn't it, Aston Villa, and you've seen him having to adapt a little bit, and that transitional season he had at Man City was difficult because he was essentially having to play for the team instead of himself, which was to move the ball consistently. You normally see Jack check back and play that ball because it's all about keeping that ball moving, you know, creating spaces, manipulating space, and slowly breaking down your opposition. I think that's what Nunes is going to have to bring into his game instead of being that constant box-to-box midfielder, that person who is all about energy and endeavour. It's about getting the ball and being calm and composed on the ball, assured, and passing the ball, you know, laterally if it needs to be, backwards if it needs to be. It's all about time and breaking that opponent down. And I think that's an element of his game that's going to have to be developed on. But it's also something that I think that Manchester City have identified and thought to themselves, you know, at 24 years of age, he's going to be able to develop those capabilities. Pep loved him when he was at Sporting. I was on the video the other day saying that I think the positive with what you saw years and years ago with Alex Ferguson and Cristiano Ronaldo in 02-03, when Ferguson saw Ronaldo and thought, right, I need him. I think Matheus Nunes and Pep Guardiola almost had a very similar synergy and a very similar understanding that Matheus was going to play under Pep at some point in his career. And I think even the interactions on that night between Kevin De Bruyne and Matheus Nunes after the game, where you saw them in deep conversation, maybe you saw a little bit of the City ranks respecting what Matheus Nunes had done on the night, and he was excellent on the night for Sporting Lisbon. And yeah, it's a really good player to get through the door. And I want to touch on Cole Palmer as well, because we haven't spoke about Cole yet. Obviously going to Chelsea, 45 million. I think it's a great deal for City. Again, they have just, I mean, the amount of money that they've got in for a lot of their players now, youngsters as well, maybe players who aren't going to fill the void. I mean, how many players have come on in place of Cole Palmer, especially in recent games? It's been quite obvious, I think, and I don't know if he was ever going to fit on that right hand side for City. To be honest with you, I don't ever think he really made it his own, and I think he has had the opportunity. And, you know, when you look at other youngsters coming through the ranks, I'm looking at someone like Oscar Bob. I'm thinking maybe in that attacking capacity, he's going to filter maybe ahead of a Cole Palmer in years to come. But yeah, I think City have done the right thing there. But 45 million, I mean, what do you say? That is City's just unbelievable negotiation techniques, their unbelievable strategy when it comes to getting players off the books who they don't feel... I mean, Pep can't have been convinced on him. He can't have been convinced on him. And I think that's really good to get him off the books, to get a bit of income in, you know, balance the books as we all know City do extremely well. And, you know, you've paid for another asset there, haven't you? What you've done with Cole Palmer is essentially you've advertised him in pre-season. He's done really well in pre-season. Obviously, he's done well in his England duties as well. But now what you've done as well is you brought in a player for essentially the value that you've sold Cole Palmer for. And he's levels above, obviously different profiles, but he's levels above. So once again, another great piece of business for Manchester City. Now, do I see them doing anything else today? I don't, but I do maybe see a few outgoings. Obviously, there's rumours of James McAtee leaving today, which I don't think would be a bad option for City. There's rumours, because I don't think he's going to feature, probably similarly to Cole Palmer. Is that going to be a permanent deal? Could they get 30, 35 million for James McAtee? I mean, another incredible piece of business that would be. Calvin Phillips, for me, is the one to keep an eye on. It really is. Now, with Nunes coming in again, and look, we know with Calvin, we know he wants to stay at the club. That's obvious. It's an obvious point of call that he wants to stay at the club. He wants to fight for his place. But I just don't see in this midfield dynamic how he gets anywhere near now. What's going to change? You know, where does he filter? Where does he feature into this midfield now? You know, Kovacic is ahead of him. Obviously, Nunes is going to be ahead of him. Obviously, Rodri is going to be ahead of him. So maybe it is going to be a case of him just plugging the gap, really. And yeah, I think this Nunes signing is a statement. And I think, as Tiki said here, Matheus is a fine player. We're really happy to see him. We know he'll help this season and beyond. He possesses a real quality and will bring a fresh dynamic. A player who can play passes, that open defences, beat players, and is technically excellent. Nunes has also said it felt good, but I tried not to think about it. I would get too over the moon, you know. I know people, and he's done that on purpose, hasn't he? I know sometimes people get lost in these type of comments, but I've tried not to think about it. But of course, it's very, very good to hear it. That's obviously Matheus Nunes reacting to Pep Guardiola's comments. So we'll hear more, obviously, from Pep Guardiola in today's press conference. But yeah, he looks buzzing, looks very happy. Tiki's happy. Matheus Nunes is happy. Pep Guardiola is obviously very, very happy. And yeah, it's a good day for City. You know, the business is good. The business I thought from them with Cole Palmer last night was really good as well. I think the only bit of business I think they're going to do today is outgoings. I think it is going to be, you know, you're probably going to get, I think, maybe a little bit of late interest for Calvin Phillips. I think you're going to get a little bit of late interest for James McAtee, maybe Oscar Bob, because obviously everybody knows the profile. Taylor Howard-Bellis looks to have secured a move to Southampton as well. Which is a good signing for them. Another loan move. I know City were keen on selling him for sort of 15 to 20 million. But yeah, it looks like that one's signed, sealed and delivered. He's going to be at Southampton for another year. Hopefully that aids his development. And then what can happen next year? Well, City can maybe demand a higher fee for him. Everything is just ticking on in the right direction. I think this is a really positive move by City. I think the outgoings are going to be meticulously looked at as well, where these players are going. You know, Taylor Howard-Bellis is likely going to get promotion with Southampton again, as he did with Burnley. His profile's only going to soar because of that. You know, having 2 promotions on your CV. You come back to City next year, City either embed you into the side or they say, look, he's had 2 promotions now. He's a young lad. He's excellent on the ball. What do you want? Look, we've last year we asked 15 million. No one came in for him. Now we're going to ask for 20, 25 million. So City are in a very good position, everybody. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. As always, we read every single comment and we'll respond to every single comment. I know there's people live here with us now. We're going to try to do this a little bit more often from our studio in Manchester. Hopefully you're enjoying this. We're going to be doing Talking City podcasts throughout the weekend. We're also going to have new coverage of Deadline Day on our site. Make sure you check on over there, the Manchester Evening News, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and we will catch you in a bit. Cheers.